Welcome back to the Olga S. Pérez show. I'm your host, Olga. How you doing? Let me know everyone who's watching me live. We are live on Rumble, on Twitter, aka X, you name it, right? We know what we mean, and I'm live on the Boob Tube. So please join me all locations. Make sure to smash that like button if you're just happy to see me. And of course, if you like the content, you want more content like this, definitely smash that like button and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Rumble. Subscribe on YouTube. And I have a very special guest for you guys today. For some of you that have been following me for a long time, you might know this individual. I'll let them introduce themselves. What do you guys think? So let me see. Sure. Up. All right. Well, it looks like the audio's working. Could you hear me? So here we go. You know what? Before I bring our special guest on the stage, let me start with an intro for those who don't know me. If you're new to my channel, awesome to have you. And if you've been here before, welcome back, my love. And the party gets started now. Hi, I'm Olga S. Pérez, coming at you live, unleashing the power of perspective, one reaction at a time. I've been a life strategist for over 20 years, and I'm here to share my insights on trending topics, current news, and music videos that we all want to talk about with love and humor. With love and humor. Oh, here we go. Just when I was checking, just when I was doing some checking. Okay. That's what life is all about, right? So, hope everyone's doing well, wherever you are in the world. Make sure to comment. Your comments are my fuel. I do read them and I will respond. And for those of you who are looking for more reaction videos, we're going to talk about that later. And I'm planning a restream. I'll put the link in the live chat in a minute. But also the links are in the description below because we're going to take the party over there where it gets real raw, and real. And okay, without further ado, please let me introduce you to Michael. I wonder because I posted earlier on a community post that can anyone guess who my guest is today? All right. Without further ado, please welcome Michael. Michael, welcome.
How's it going? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
How you doing?
So, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Been busy. Well, let me clear up something immediately. The people that are listening and have been listening for a while know who I am. I am the Major on YouTube and Rumble. In real life, this is actually my real name. I'm outing myself. Oh dear. I have been I've been writing for a magazine called The Freedomist, uh, and which is also we have another site that we're working on called mindfulintelligence.com. I've been doing that now since 2022. So I write primarily security and defense copy. So I talk about my articles are all current events, mostly military stuff. But I do pretty much anything else if I can work it in. Excuse me.
You also have a podcast.
Sorry, I used to have a pod back before our friendly bug that that was called the Dark Drop Podcast, which is still on Spotify, and it after COVID, lungs left to keep doing the. My friend that runs the freight guy, he rode to the rescue and gave me a job. So here I am. And then I accidentally tripped over you because of Tom McDonald.
I know so many. It's so awesome because obviously Tom McDonald music video reaction, but yet you stuck around for more. And it's been awesome having you. And it's been great because when I've ever asked, hey guys, you have any idea what to talk about, whatnot? I think that's when you That's when you reached out to me, and just goes to prove that I listen. Like, remember we did AC Nelson? Do you remember AC Nelson? I mean, obviously he comes around once in a blue. He used to be on every day. Um, and
Oh, yeah.
were you around? Like, did you find me at that time when I did AC Nelson, which was he was a regular, and then he became a moderator, and then he's a musician, and he wrote a song and he sang it for us. Did you ever see that one? Or did you?
Yeah, I saw where you did the interview with him. Yeah, I saw where you did that interview with him.
So you've been with me quite a long time, at least a year, right?
So,
Not that we're counting, but so I'm going to update the thumbnail and
mhm.
the title after, because I seem like I keep doing that. So I didn't want to change it up. And I figured, who knows? What if we talk about something different than what we had planned? But I'm all about what you're into and what you
Mhm.
write about. I looked at.
I have a pretty range.
You got to cut out a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I just
well,
got done being frustrated by the FBI.
oh,
Am I?
tell us about that.
Yeah, an article. Uh, Actually, I'd written an article before the Freedomist existed, back when I was still writing for Military Gazette, and it involved this guy, but something about this story bothered me, and I ended up going back to it, and I wanted to find out what is bugging me. And the story goes that this dude walks into an Army Navy store in Los Angeles in 2008, buys himself an Army uniform, a couple of Army uniforms, patches himself up to look like a colonel in the Special Forces, and then he opens a recruiting office and starts recruiting Chinese immigrants. The way it was presented when they finally busted this guy after 3 years and 1,000 recruits or so is that he was doing this as a scam by Chinese Tong, like a social club.
Hmm.
And what bothered me about it was there's no money in this. If you're going to run a scam, you need to be making money to make it worthwhile. And there was no
Right.
money in this.
So who's paying them?
And I started looking and trying to figure out what was the deal. So of course I wanted to. There was an FBI guys forging military IDs, and an officer of the army. So the FBI investigated. So when I asked the welcome to FOIA, I don't know if this is up in front of the camera too well, but this was a FOIA request, where they basically told no, we don't have any information, anything about this, nothing. The guy's giving the FBI the guy's and multiple articles where they're according to the FBI, no, they're not. So I have a guy who's a Chinese national who in the United States, and then proceeded to recruit an infantry battalion. That's 800 to 1,000 people is what this guy supposedly recruited. And he got them into this wasn't like an underground deal. He got them into parades in Chinatown in LA in Los Angeles. He got them in to meet Democrat politicians in Southern California. He got them down to the USS Midway Museum for an official tour. And I this is just this really weird, what is going on here? And now you have, and this is here about a year ago, labs being run by illegal Chinese immigrants in Southern California and Central California. And I immediately thought back to this article and I was like, well, what is going on here? And I think I accidentally stumbled across some weird intelligence operation because everybody on the government side has clammed up on this. Of all the groups that from a government agency that responded to me, the only people who responded, the California the California prison system, just giving me details prison on this day, and I was like, okay, thanks. It cost me $5. FBI is like, no, we don't have anything on this guy. And even if we did have something on this person, we wouldn't give you his details because that would be an invasion of privacy. You can't make this stuff up.
Mm-mm.
I don't understand. This is a lot, and and been writing for the Freedomist hasn't been as was because that was back in 2014. That was rough. That was the middle of ISIS on and uh, in Syria and Iraq, and that was just nonstop every single day. There's just stuff blowing up everywhere, literally. Um, but yeah, I run across these weird things every now and then, and that's what I put into my articles, and I just try to get that message out.
That's how do you run into these articles? How do you find this information? You gotta cut out.
I'm kind of a news hog. I look at weird stuff. The way I tripped over Yu Peng Deng, that's the guy in Los Angeles, who's an actual. I have a weird friend set because she's an actual archaeologist, and she sent me this link to a Cracked magazine article thing that I love, and and I saw this. I was like, "There's a thing." It was probably what 20. I incorporated that into a bigger article until all this other stuff has just come up here in the last 2-3 years or so, and I remember things. So it's like, hey, I need to go back and reread that. And that's when it became, hey, what is going on here? Which led to my first FOIA request ever to the FBI and getting stonewalled. So that was awesome.
Mm.
Your tax dollars at work.
Well, so I'm reading some of the comments.
Yeah.
The sound is crazy,
Yes.
but I'm not surprised. So I'm thinking because of what you do, maybe someone is messing with us. And I mean, obviously you're a journalist, you write, you've got all this military background, intel. Like I read part of when I was looking at your articles about how you're a former active duty United States Marine, longtime personal protection specialist, security and defense analyst, right? It goes on, right? So I'm like, and then you're barely even saying any trigger words. But I'll tell you what if you take the camera off and let's see if the audio is less skippy. At least we can hear you and not lose the thread of the information you're giving us.
Let me try that. Yeah.
Let's just try for a couple minutes and see, because obviously I prefer to see you, and I'm sure the audience would too. But
let's see. All right, I think that. Yeah. It's honestly, it's probably my computer because I'm running on a kind of an old janky Windows 7 machine right now. So that's probably part of it. When in doubt, blame tech. I used to do tech support, so blame tech. Is this?
I don't know. Go
any
ahead.
better?
No, I was thinking that you
Mhm.
see the avatar. Since now we're only hearing you, like it would be cool, but I don't know if it's gonna distract from everything you're talking about. But it would be cool to maybe your avatar, because I tried to look to see if I can do it on my end,
Mhm.
and I can't. Yeah, I think it's you have to do it. I
If you
can
want to
edit your mic
use,
settings.
well, can I?
You know what I mean? At least they see a face moving, but it's okay. Who
Yeah.
cares? Now let's focus.
Let's see.
So so what did you want? I mean,
Anyway,
so you talk. Go
yeah.
ahead.
As far as oh, go ahead.
No, no, no.
I
What do you
do.
wanna talk about? What do you why
I
did you
did
wanna share, like, what is
do
your most
on the podcast back. I did mostly conspiracy stuff, UFOs. Although I did get into some interesting stuff because I think I found an intelligence agency that nobody's ever heard of. I think I tripped over it by accident.
and when was
I'm sure
this?
that they have a name, and
When was this?
I this is kind of an ongoing thing.
When did you
It's
trip on it?
it just kind of coalesced a couple of years ago, and I've been
So it's been a couple years since you tripped on this. Now I can't hear you, Michael.
am I still there?
Yeah, but I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you at all. Yeah, we might have to do this some other time because I can't even keep the thread of, like, today's, um you know what? You might as well put the camera back on because it's not it seemed like it made a difference for a second. Again, who knows? Um, I will say though, when you're doing live streams, you know what we could have done? Now that I'm thinking, we should have recorded this, not live, and then I could have uploaded it, and we wouldn't have had any problems, most likely. Or at least if we did, I would have figured it out, and then we would have reconvened on another date. Because I remember having a guest on my other channel, and we were having the same issues, and I had prepped her to make sure that she knew, like, in order to do a live stream, we need a certain amount of speed in the internet. Regular internet won't work. It has to be a little higher speed. So, guys, I don't know if I lost him or he's trying to like reconnect. So I'll do that. But Rocco, I did watch it. It took me like 3 days to watch the whole thing. So I watched chunk by chunk. Loved it. It was great. For me, most of what he was talking about, we're talking about Derek Johnson, because for everybody who's watching and maybe not looking at the chat, Rocco had suggested about a week ago or so, right? About checking out the Derek Johnson and Roseanne Barr interview that was on her podcast. So I did. And it was great. And I think most Americans need to watch it because they're just not familiar with 95% of what he was talking about. And I think it was extremely important. And I think it was very well done. She really gave him the floor. And I actually was thinking, I just don't have the time, that I wanted to cut clips out and have a live stream and discuss it. So let's see, God willing. Michael's back. Let's see if it's working now. Michael. Hello.
Okay. I'm hopefully we're a little more stable now.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, why don't we pick one subject? Because I know you mentioned talking about aliens, talking about, the little green men and mercenaries. Why don't we pick one at least and see if we can get, since we're choppy, you know what I mean? Since you're choppy on
Yes.
your end.
I, yeah, we're still pretty choppy.
Yeah. I know the last
Yeah,
article you wrote, I
it's.
think it
I
was
think we're.
July 3rd.
Hmm.
You wrote an article about the quiet revolution you should
Okay.
fear,
Was that one?
about artificial
Yes.
intelligence. But
that was on AI taking over military strategy.
of course. Here you guys, again, this is the Freedomist, right? Freedomist.com. That's where you'll find Michael's work, at least one place.
Yes.
And I would think sooner than later, you're going to be back on your podcast, the Dark Drop podcast. But anyway, just because if we don't get to,
There it is, the Dark Drop podcast.
wait, what did I say? Did I say, you know me and my dyslexia? What did I say?
Yeah, if I can't fix this, at least people have that. Oh shoot, I was darn it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, as far as the alien side goes, that's at this point, I don't think anybody rational is going to say that aliens are not here. It's just the only question at this point is who's involved and how deeply are they involved.
Okay. Since we're choppy, I'm going to jump right into it. I was going to let you tell the whole everything you wanted to talk about it, and then I was going to. I thought to myself, if I have any question, I got one already ahead of time, and that is the question of: are aliens demons? I have my opinion on it, but based on your research,
Are aliens demons?
yeah, I don't think aliens come from outer space. I actually think they're here, or maybe they come in interdimensionally,
No.
which is like demons. Go ahead, tell me.
There might be an element of that. UFO encounters from way back at Pascagoula. I think interdimensional aliens are a possibility. I think it's much more likely that they're coming other solar system. Just because it's not impossible to go faster than light or to go through a wormhole or something. Pick your favorite sci-fi
Yeah, because
drive.
I'm like I can do the wormhole,
I think
but I
that's
can't.
entirely possible.
Yeah, because I have a big background in astrology,
Mm-hmm.
and so
There's a whole bunch of different things that can be made to work that way. So I think that's a lot more believable. It's a good word than saying they're interdimensional spirit demon angel things.
well, what's your
Because that's
interest in
just
them?
not how it reads to me.
Okay, no, that's cool. I was curious to see how it read
There's
to
an
you.
author out there, um, Joseph P. Farrell. Hmm. Yeah, there's an author out there. His name is Joseph P. Farrell,
Uh-huh.
and he has a whole video series called "The Cosmic Versailles." And
This is Joseph Farrell.
his view is that you have a bunch of alien races that fought a huge war. Right. Two R's, two L's.
Yeah, I'm
PhD
looking at.
Oxford, and big brain on Brad type of PhDs. And
Is this the guy?
his view is that there was a war in heaven, and that war resulted in a peace treaty that kind of keeps Earth like the Balkans. Cosmic War Parts 1 and 2.
Yeah,
That's from 2015.
this is the guy though.
Um, those
Look at
are
the screen now.
huge. Those are huge. That's a huge lecture, and it's well worth anybody's time to watch it.
But it is
I
this
don't have
guy,
anything
right?
to argue with him in there. What he's talking about is sorry.
But that is the guy you were talking about.
Yeah, that is him.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know. The lag is pretty bad so that you can't hear me and then we'll talk over each other because the lag like it takes long for you to hear me and then so we're not having a really
Yeah,
good
because the lag.
connection today.
That's probably on my end. Yeah.
Well, like I said,
Yeah,
we can reschedule, or we can,
we're
like I said, we can do a private non-live stream.
yeah,
I can record it and upload it.
yeah, we might wanna try rescheduling to yeah.
Yeah,
There you
because
go. We can
if
do that if you wanna do it that way.
I mean, we have to, because I can't even keep up. Um, yeah,
Hmm,
you know what? Let me, well, while we're here, let me see if anybody has any questions or any comments, because I'm sure everybody's wanting to know, because I looked Michael up, okay, guys? So regardless of, for most of you that come on the lives regularly, then you know the major, right? And if you've been on locals, you know the major. Um, and I'm gonna do a restream, but it's a different software over there, Michael. So I'm not gonna be able to add you, but of course we can still chat in the chat, and everyone, if they have any questions um or want to discuss anything more with you, we'll do it
mhm,
in the restream on locals for sure. But let me see, while everybody's here,
okay.
do you have any questions for Michael while we're here? Or at least even for Michael and I, whether we do a live stream or we do a private recording, pre-recorded, let me know, guys, what you would like to ask so I can ask Michael. And again, if you can't think about it right now, put it in the comments below, or on locals, or you can email me. All right. And I'll make sure we'll make it happen, because Michael's got a lot of interesting stuff. Like I said, just I listened to some of his episodes on the podcast, but like you said, Michael, you haven't done one in a while because the crotch 9, the crotch 19. But I did also go
COVID.
down some articles,
Yeah.
and I really like this website, the Freedomist. And so the Freedomist calls themselves a hometown, or at least the website says hometown newspaper for the free world. So guys, at the very least, check that platform out, freedomist.com. I'll put the link in the description below as well. So at least you guys, since we're not having a good connection today, then you know why Michael, aka the Major, is with us today. So I really appreciate it. He got out of his way to do this. And me, guys, where you have a voice, you have something to offer, to
Yeah.
share, I'm all about it. But so wait. So let's see. Rock was still talking about the Derek Johnson. Did you, by the way, Michael, did you watch that podcast of Roseanne Barr and Derek Johnson? Yeah, you see how it's lagging?
You said I had things in here in the last couple of weeks, so I've been kind of limited.
Yeah. You know what? Because you were saying it right before we started.
My editors will be happy.
Yeah, you got to let them know. We're giving you a shout out. I'll also, be putting on Twitter, X. I mean, we're live on X right now. Who's on X tonight? Who's watching me on X? Anybody watching me on X? What's going on? Oh, that's nice. Got a little like there. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I don't know, since we're getting cut out, but one of the questions was, where did you get your information from, Michael? I guess since it's been cutting out, because you were talking about what information? Rocco, you talking about like the aliens in specific? Where do you get that information?
In general,
Yeah, see, we can't do this because we can't even.
okay,
I'm sorry,
on the
Michael.
alien side, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
It's like,
probably have to been finding out.
yeah, no problem. It is. Hey, you know what?
That's
We made it
pull
happen.
that
We were
up
supposed
and
to do this last
send
week,
that to you.
and then we did it today. At least we got our feet wet. We got the ball rolling here. Because the Rational Texan also said, because talking about what you were saying in the beginning of the stream about the Chinese person, just like those Chinese police stations, they had been finding operating on U.S.
Mhm.
territory. You know what I mean? So yeah, but yeah, I'm sure you have insight that we have
Uh-huh.
not seen on anywhere, whether it's mainstream media or the main alternative media, which is the other reason why I wanted to have you on, to because I know you got insight that I'm not seeing in other places.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, Michael, we're going to
And
reconvene.
that's because I stopped. I stopped. Yeah.
I'll see you on locals.
Yeah. We can break this down and we'll have to redo it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing it, no doubt. I'm going to close up the stream. I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes. Like, I'll see you on locals, maybe like 15 minutes from now or something like that, or at least by 1:30. I'll see you on locals because I know we can talk on locals. I know that'll work.
Okay.
And to be continued, Michael. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to wrap it up over here because I don't even know what to talk about. I was all about the aliens and the UFOs and the mercenaries and spies. Guys, you have no idea how much Michael had to share. But everything happens for a reason. So, Michael, I'll talk to you soon on locals. All right? I'll see you in a minute. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Hey, guys. Bless him. He's got nothing. It's not his fault. It happens. And I don't know if you guys heard it because he was cutting off, but oh no, you know what? Let me take that back. I don't know if he actually said it on the live because I thought he was saying that one of the things he's going through a lot, like he's moving. He told me that right before the live, like a minute before, but I think he kind of started saying that in the live. So with your permission, Michael, I think you were kind of saying that, but it kept cutting out. So, you guys, you know how it is, but you figure, hey, the internet, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it's no problem. Other times it is what it is. And is it Texas? Because I don't know. I didn't ask Michael where exactly is he living. But maybe he's also being under the effects of the hurricane that was supposed to just like be in the Caribbean, maybe like hit Mexico, and then it goes into. Listen, anybody who wants to tell me again about climate change, anybody, if I see another post on anywhere on the internet, like, you don't know your shit. Okay. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't know about DARPA, okay, then you got no business talking about climate change. You guys feel me? Now you know when I'm here. Okay. I'm off the clock. I'm not working right now, right? This is the Olga S. Pérez show where I talk to you like you're with me in my living room, my kitchen, the backyard, the pool, the beach. I don't care, right? Because that's the only way we're going to ensure having real conversations for real people. No. Listen, even if the earth, okay, is going through climate changes that naturally occur in history, there's no way that Obama and many more like him have beachfront property. Although, did anybody see? I forgot where I saw it just a few days ago, how the insurance companies are jacking the prices up on beachfront property just recently. Don't. No, there's no climate change. I'm telling you right now. You know what there is the constant brainwashing and division. I've mentioned this before. Anybody know about ants? Ants. Do you know about ants? You can't tell me that all the experts in the world don't know about the ants and how they survive and how they strengthen and they keep their, I guess you can call it tribes. It's not the right word, clearly. What do you, colony? Colony? Did I get that right? Okay. Colonies. We know that in order for us to succeed and thrive, we need to stick together. And the idea of, I think this way, you think that way, the left or right, the blue and the red. How about, remember when right after, was it the next day? Yeah, it was last Friday. So the day after 4th of July. And remember, we didn't go into it. I didn't go far into it because I just wanted to kind of just plant that seed and see what came through you guys. But the fact that they were burning flags, and it was both American and Palestinian flags here in Philadelphia next to City Hall. But the reason why I mentioned it is because I wanted to see if anybody had heard of it, because unless it popped into like my local news, I wouldn't have seen it. And then when I look to see if it's been, has other news outlets nationwide mentioned, highlighted, no. So I'm like, I think I saw something this morning again with the flags burning, especially like the American flag. And let me tell you something. Most countries you get fined, or at least a lot of countries you get fined. A lot of countries you go to jail. I mean, it's serious shit. Now, but because, I have a background in communications where that's where I studied, one of my last majors in college. One of the things that we actually studied or, went upon was some lawsuits because the internet was still very fresh. And so like libel and, how to control the internet, right? And how the laws were not even they were in the process of like, okay, how do you keep free speech? How do you, control the internet going out of control, et cetera. Well, now we know there's a dark web, right? They didn't think about that then. That wasn't ever commented back then. I'm talking like 20 years ago. But one of the things that we went through was the burning of a flag. It was a case, I think it was in the 60s, or maybe it was the early 80s, because for some reason I'm thinking Reagan was in office. I was young. But anyway, my point is, I remember that they won. The person burning the American flag won the case, being sued for doing that as like a hate crime. Don't quote me on the exact specifics, but I remember that they won because it was protected under the First Amendment, like freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But if you're an American and you're a true American, you're a patriot, and you're paying your taxes, and you care about your community, right? You're a law-abiding citizen, a loving, pillar of the community that understands the strength of unity, like the ants. And that's just giving an example to be funny, right? To lighten up the load here. But at the end, I remember thinking, yeah, well, that makes sense, because that was my first instinct, that it would be protected under the First Amendment. But what about when other people come here that maybe they're not even American citizens? Maybe they want to keep both nationalities, whatever they have. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just here temporary. Maybe they're just residents. I mean, who knows? It's a direct, just like lynching and using the crosses. It's a direct kind of a threat, insult, but more of a threat, which is why it's punishable in most countries. So I think that the Supreme Court was not wrong, because I do understand and agree how they would have chosen the First Amendment to protect this person's right to burn the flag. But they could have tweaked it a little bit. Not the law, not the Constitution, not the First Amendment, but, who can burn it? Because then the other question is, so you can burn it, but you need licensing and stuff like that to burn anything on the streets, for example. So do you see what I'm saying? And I don't mean laws. I don't think we need more laws, because what do? Every law, then we create another law, and then another law, and there's a loophole, and another law, and law. We are lawed up to here. We're so lawed up that this is why we have even more shit happening in this country than a lot of other countries. Does anybody know the background of car insurance, for example? Do you remember the car insurance? Because I remember when I got here in the 90s. I understand this whole car insurance and how much it costs, how expensive it was compared to like Spain, where I grew up. And then I found out it was explained to me. And then I did some research back in the day. I actually went to the library, but I also asked a lot of insurance agents. And basically, at the time I was living in New Jersey, and they were like, well, this is what happens, because when people didn't have insurance and couldn't cover the cost of the accidents, et cetera, then they got really strict and like, you have to have your car registered and the insurance, right? Because it always comes down to money. Who's going to pay for it? So one problem fixes one thing, causes a whole nother set of problems. Then they take it to another. Oh, how old you are? Although you never got in a car accident, but you're young. And statistically, that's because of your age. I know things have been changing lately. They seem to be getting a lot better because there's like more competition as far as like insurance companies. But do you see where I'm getting at? more laws is not helping. We have to take a deeper look on the fact that for me, who I'm an immigrant, although my dad was in the Navy, right? So I was born with the right to be an American from birth because my father was in the Navy when I was born. When I was born. At the end of the day, somebody's burning an American flag in front of me. That's hate to me. I would feel hate coming from that person. I would not feel that it's just exercising my freedom of speech. And then, are you an American where those rights protect you? Are you guys feeling me with this? Just food for thought. We can get in this conversation deeper later whenever you want. But for now, I just wanted to go back to that. And the Derek Johnson, yeah, I recommend that everybody watch that. And I will be talking about it. So it'd be great, the more of you who actually watch the Derek Johnson interview with Roseanne Barr, to make sure to join me in the next lives. Make sure to click that notification bell so we can really discuss and you guys tell me exactly what you think and what did you know about what he said or what you didn't know that he said. And there's a little bit of, I will say, although I didn't pull it up, but I will say that even with Derek Johnson had a lot of information, and I believe he has his own podcast. I haven't looked it up yet, but I remember him mentioning that to Roseanne Barr. And I admire him a lot. I admire that he is a well-informed citizen. He has really good vibes for me, like to me. I feel like he's a good person. He's an honest person. And I deeply and greatly appreciate him. But there is a little bit of, I don't know if the right word is naivete, but there is where people are reading like him and he's putting two to two together, like he's putting all the pieces of information that he finds into a puzzle. And I always trust my instinct and my gut. And I feel like he's pretty close to what I can feel. Because this upcoming election is not going to be an election. I keep saying it. Be prepared. And that's why I'm mentioning the whole 4th of July thing and the burning of the flags that just happened again yesterday, today. It's very important to us. Because if you know who you're dealing with, you know how to protect yourself. You know how to stand when you need to stand. You know when to back down when you need to. So I'm all about peaceful protests, peaceful gatherings. Because the war now is not just the war that's been on the mind, but they're using technology that most people don't even know about. Shout out again to Michael Cessna, aka the Major, who writes articles about that. Like everyone's got to stop following even their main alternative media, because how about Lucas Cage? Who knows this guy? I think he's also former Marine veteran, and he just got Elon Musk just suspended him on X after he's been swatted crazy for the last few days under the I'm not going to say it because of the bots. Don't get me started, because that's the other thing that bothers me about these platforms. Even if it's a private company, YouTube is making money off the content creators. Okay? So we should have some rights, and yet we don't. And these platforms that are in a country that is protected by free speech, how can they censor you? Oh, we already know. Section. What's the section number? It can't come to me. Guys, let me know in the comments. I forget the section number. But no. You want your cake and eat it too. No. No. Now, what we should all do is not use these platforms. Boycott them. Go to Rumble. I'm not saying Rumble's not going that same route because I see that too. And I know it. But at least they feel something for a second. If everybody did a massive exodus from YouTube, from Facebook, from Meta, what would they do? We're in complete control, guys. We are in complete control. But every other person out there, all those other content creators, all those influencers, whatever you want to call them, the bigger channels and names we both know that I'm not going to get into because it's giving them too much credit, but you know who they are. Because they're even favored on the algorithms and whatnot. Even when they proclaim that they're censored, they all make money. I want to see any of them. All the names. Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, I don't care. Russell Brand, all of them, all the names that everybody knows. How many of them will actually continue to do content creation for free? Like many of us. That they're completely supported only by their audience. I want to see that. Let's do it. I'll tell you what, it's not going to change as long as our eyeballs are right there, our phones, pinning everywhere we're at, what we like, what we don't like, letting know the advertisements, who we are, what we like. Again, it's manipulation. So, all right. I'm gonna take a break because I'm gonna do the restream because I'm gonna get more lethal over there. If you can handle the heat, join me on Locals. The Major, great to see you in the comments. I'm so glad you're talking to everybody. And yeah, to be continued, guys. And again, I put the link. It's pinned on the top, but it's also in the description below. In a few minutes or so, by like 125, 130 at the latest, I'll see you on Locals. Come join me on the other side if you can handle it, baby. Much love, guys, and I will talk to you soon.